It's my pleasure to welcome each of you to the Houston Methodist Hospital Service Awards. Normally, we'd gather together to have lunch and celebrate with our employees and their supervisors. However, 2020 has forced us to change much of the way we live. But we could not let this occasion go. It's important that we celebrate longtime employees, and we weren't going to let a pandemic stop us from doing so. Our hope is that even though we couldn't gather to celebrate and have a meal together, that you're still enjoying a meal as you watch this celebration on video. With that in mind, we'll have an invocation next by Reverend Charles Millikan, Vice President for Spiritual Care and Values Integration.
Let us pray. Our most gracious and loving God, we stand on foundations we did not build. We drink from wells we did not dig. We find ourselves today benefiting from the work of all those who have gone before us. As we celebrate our workday anniversaries, we marvel at the opportunities that have been ours in being a part of a healthcare ministry that dates back over 100 years. We represent more than ourselves. We are all in a healthcare ministry that is truly transformative when it comes to ways and means in getting through this pandemic. This is our day. This is our time. We are each called to move healthcare to yet a new frontier, one that calls for wellness over illness, good health practices over circumstances, the dismantling of social determinants of health to a lifestyle filled with hope, a time when every person has the opportunity to have a medical home outside of emergency departments and to hail diversity, equity, and inclusion as a right and not a privilege. As your people, O Lord, we look to you to guide and direct us as we accept the role we each have in making a difference. As your Spirit guides us, we will follow, knowing full well that knowledge and vital piety do go together, along with the sound practice of science and theology being united to create a new world with new frontiers that brings out the best in who we are and the best care ever in serving those who look to us for their healthcare needs. Bless each person who is celebrating their workday anniversary today. May each know how truly special they are and what they bring to this healthcare ministry we call Houston Methodist. For we pray this prayer in your holy name. Amen.
Hello to you all out there. Boy, it feels good to celebrate something great today. This year has been like none other, and our lives have changed in so many ways. Even though we can't be together in the same room, I couldn't be more thankful or happy to celebrate you today. Whether 5, 10, or 30 years with Houston Methodist, this year marks a milestone for your commitment to our work family and to your I Care values. Part of our vision for Houston Methodist Willowbrook has always been to be the hospital of choice for our community and also to be the employer of choice. While that is a big part of my job, every individual matters. It's the dedication, perseverance, and resilience of people like you who have made this vision a reality and will keep it that way. In fact, I just spoke with a new manager a few weeks ago who said the difference in culture he's already seen here takes everything in his job to the next level. I couldn't agree more, and I hope today you sit back with pride at the difference you make in the lives of your patients, clients, and peers each day. This year has really tested who we are, and the examples you all have set for lesser tenured employees is to be admired. Since you've started here, we've endured everything from major weather events to global pandemics together. These types of things can make or break a person, a relationship, or an organization. Not only have we made it, but we've come through it stronger each time, arm in arm. We are truly family through thick and thin. You all are to be admired, and it is my absolute honor to work alongside each of you every day.
Good afternoon. What a blessing it is for me to be a part of this special day. It is great to see how many of you have been committed to Houston Methodist Willowbrook Hospital and the Houston Methodist system for so many years. As I think about today and reflect on the role of the women and men in the healthcare industry, I realize you all have answered a calling. Whether you care for patients directly as a nurse or food server, or indirectly as a housekeeper or manager, you deliver aid when your neighbors are sick, diseased, or injured. When we are at our worst, we get your best. Today, we're not just celebrating that you answered your calling, but your commitment to that calling. That is noble, and our community is blessed because of you all. On behalf of our community, I thank you for the service that you render unto us. The Bible tells us that God considers a servant of the highest rank, and that's what each one of you are. You humbly give of yourselves to help us when we are in need. I know there are sacrifices you make in your own life as you render service to us, and I thank you for that. In our time of need, you fulfill your calling every time. You're very special individuals, deserving of commendation and honor. We as a community owe you a great debt of gratitude and appreciation. We walk among the noble, the helpers, the servants, the best of our community when we walk among you. You are heroes, and when we see you, we should recognize whose presence we are in. Congratulations to each of you for achieving these milestones. Thank you, and I hope I have the privilege of meeting you all in person very soon. May God continue to bless and keep us all.
It is our pleasure to honor those employees who have been with Houston Methodist for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. These are remarkable milestones, and we're thankful to celebrate each of you today. Now we will introduce 3 employees who have been part of the Houston Methodist family for 25 years. Let's take a look back at what was happening in the world a quarter of a century ago. In 1995, Amazon sold its first book. We were watching ER, Friends, and Seinfeld on TV and buying tickets to see Toy Story, Batman Forever, and Apollo 13 at the box office. Brad Pitt was People magazine's sexiest man alive, and Starbucks released the infamous Frappuccino. Houston Methodist Willowbrook Hospital wouldn't even open for another 5 years. To some of us, 25 years may sound like the blink of an eye, but this shows an incredible loyalty to our organization. Interestingly, our 3 25-year employees are all from the pharmacy department. Let's hear what they have to say.
Regina, it's an honor to be with you today to celebrate your 25 years. Talk to us a little bit about your fondest memory of Houston Methodist.
It was actually my EOD date, my hire date. I was really excited and blessed to be working with Methodist because I've been retail my whole career as a pharmacy tech. And someone told me to apply, and I got the job, and I was really excited. It changed my life. And to be here where I am now, 25 years later, it's awesome. It's a blessing.
So, Regina, what has been some of the most important and influential aspects of your stay at Houston Methodist Hospital?
Becoming a buyer. I've never done that, but it was really challenging at first, but now it's really awesome. And I actually had the opportunity to be buyer for both Methodist Willowbrook and Methodist Katy while they were in between buyers. And that really showed me that Methodist as a whole had confidence in my ability as a buyer. So that was really encouraging for me. It was challenging at times, but I made it through. So yeah, that was really a great honor for me.
Excellent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Just being a buyer in general for Methodist. My family's like, oh, you work for Methodist? Oh, yes, I do. So.
Excellent. So I know over the last 25 years, you've experienced a lot of changes
Yeah.
Within the hospital. What would you say is the greatest change that impacted you the most?
The growth of the pharmacy, where we come from in the South Pavilion to like a 1,500 square foot room to where we are now, it's a big change. And then the personnel increase, and it just made it more rewarding to work with the group of people that I do, even as we're growing and continue to grow. So that's the most biggest change we've had from that small room to where we are now. So yes, that's really great. Okay. To see that happen. And I was involved in the setup of the new pharmacy in the North Pavilion, so
that's
to see
wonderful.
it actually, come to fruition was really good.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Well, it's such a pleasure to be with you today, Regina.
Thank you.
And we really want to celebrate you and your 25 years of service at
Thank you.
Houston Methodist. We appreciate you, and we really value you as one of our
Yeah.
employees.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Well,
It's an
thank you.
honor to work for Methodist.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I'm so excited to be here today to honor your 25 years of service. Can you talk to us about some of your fondest memories, one of your most special memories of Houston Methodist?
Of course. It would have to be when I first started here. I didn't have a job and I was looking for a job. I applied here at Methodist, and I needed health benefits for my family. My wife was expecting, so I had to get this job. And so I got the job, and I was so happy about that. And yeah.
I would think over the last 25 years, I mean, you've seen so much changes within the Houston Methodist Hospital. What are some of the changes that you've noticed over the last 25 years, and how have they impacted you personally?
One thing I've noticed is the expansion or the growth of the organization. When I first started, I remember Sugarland being built and opening, and working at night as a pharmacist. Sometimes we would have to go there to be on call because it wasn't, I guess, busy enough to have an overnight staff. So that was one of the things I noticed. And now there are like I think there's like 6 different campuses other than the medical center. So that's tremendous growth that I've noticed.
So the other question I have for you is, what is the staying power that has allowed you to stay at Houston Methodist Hospital over the last 25 years?
The organization cares about their employees. The pay is fair, good. The people that I work with are wonderful. Management, they do show you respect, and they don't only show you, they don't only tell you that they respect you, they show you by tangible things, like they give us, the whole organization gives us bonuses throughout the year. That's very nice, very wonderful.
Well, thank you, Eric. We're so pleased to be here with you today to honor your 25 years of service. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
So today we have the pleasure to sit down with Shama Khan to discuss how she has spent the last 25 years of service with Houston Methodist. And Shama, I just want to say it's an honor to sit down with you just to talk about your experiences that you've had over the last 25 years. The one question I would have for you is, you know, if you could tell me what's one of your fondest memories of being an employee of Houston Methodist?
One of my fondest memories, I think when we came together during Hurricane Allison to take care of our patients. I think that was one of my memories that stays with me. As you remember, there was flooding in the medical center. The pharmacy was located in the basement, and so the main pharmacy was flooded. The main robot that we had was flooded, that used to do all the dispensing. Everything was flooded, so we had to go out to the satellite pharmacies to do our work. And the power system had also failed. So one of the main elements that we had to make sure was that our medication administration record stayed current in order for provide safe care. So pharmacists had to make sure that the MAR was current and up to date. So we were making routine trips to all the nursing units to retrieve physician orders so that we could update our medication administration record. Okay. And there was no power, so we were climbing several flights of stairs at least every hour to retrieve orders from all over the hospital to make sure that the MAR stayed current. And that's how we also delivered medications and routine flights, climbing flights of stairs, yeah.
I remember that time as well, and so although it was a challenging time, I'm so glad that you have fond memories and you were able to help be a part of the care delivery and supporting our patients and our team. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it was a good effort, And another memory, I know you asked for one, but both my children were born at the medical center hospital, so that hospital is close to my heart also for that reason.
Absolutely. Well, so I will imagine that there's been a lot of changes over the last 25 years since you started. Yeah. What would you say are some of the most memorable changes that you can remember that impacted you over the last 25 years?
It was just my journey as a pharmacist. I started out at the medical center on the floor, and I learned a lot by being on the floor, interacting with physicians and nurses. From there, I went to Sugarland. I also worked part-time at Sugarland for a brief period. That was an entirely different experience, a smaller hospital where we weren't even open on weekends, and we mainly dealt with the OR. And then we have come here. This is also a totally different experience as a satellite hospital, community hospital, but on a larger scale. We are constantly dealing with new challenges in our pharmacy, new projects, new innovative ideas that are happening. So it's constant constant challenging environment. So just daily work environment that's been challenging. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Great. Well, I mean, you've been here for 25 years. There's got to be some reasons and rationales why you're still here. What would you say are the leading factors responsible for your continued stay at Houston Methodist Hospital?
Well, there's a good work environment at all the Methodist hospitals. It's a nationally ranked hospital. We do innovative things in various fields of medicine, and I'm constantly learning. There's something new on the horizon all the time. And then the people I work with, they've been always encouraging and supportive, and they've helped me improve my clinical knowledge to be, as a pharmacist. So that's another reason. Methodist also throws all these employee appreciation occasions throughout the year, whether it's the Astros coming or the employee dinner. We have great benefits package. All of these has made me stay here. Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks.
Sharma, thank you. I want to say that, it's been a pleasure just to sit with you and to hear your experience and what's made you stay at Houston Methodist for the past 25 years. On behalf of our senior leadership, our executive team, we're grateful for your service and what you've done. You've had the ability to work at 3 of our entities within our big system. And so it's just an honor to have you as one of our employees, as a part of our family. So thank you.
Thank you.
Reaching back a little further into time, now let's see what was happening in the world in 1990 as we celebrate 3 employees who have been with Houston Methodist for 30 years. Minimum wage in 1990 was just $3.80 an hour. The Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy was closed temporarily because they thought it might actually fall over. Top box office earners were Home Alone, Ghost, and Dances with Wolves, while the most popular TV shows were Cheers, 60 Minutes, and Roseanne. And the most popular song in America was Because I Love You by Stevie B. Now, let's recognize our 30-year employees. These are our longest tenured employees at Houston Methodist Willowbrook, and I know everyone watching joins me in congratulating them.
And we're so honored to sit with you today and acknowledge your 30 years of service. So talk to us about how you've seen the organization grow over the last 30 years.
I've seen a lot of growth over the last 30 years. I've seen us go from one hospital in the medical center where I started working in the main building, the oldest building, to several hospitals all over Houston, and then all the outpatient ERs and services like that make healthcare more accessible to the community. So there's been a lot of positive growth. And I also have noticed a change in that the name of Methodist Hospital has changed 3 times in the 30 years I've been working here. When I started, it was Methodist Hospital. A few years later, it was the Methodist Hospital. And now it's Houston Methodist Hospital. So that's kind of interesting. The other biggest thing I've seen is technology. When I started working, we'd go in a patient room, the chart was hanging on the end of the bed, we'd do an assessment, write it down, leave. Now we've got Epic, we've got MyChart, all kinds of technology that
so
help
you've
us
seen a lot
with
of
documentation.
growth. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And positive, again, makes everything more accessible, ease of care, continuity of care. So a lot of good changes. The other thing in my area is infant security has really gotten good over the last few years. So
that's awesome. Very good.
So Ann, tell us about your fondest memory of your time at Houston Methodist.
Okay, well, I have more than one in 30 years, but one of my fondest ones is I took care of an international family. When I worked downtown, we had a lot of international patients. And this family came back to Houston and came to Houston Methodist every time they had a baby, and they had 5 babies. So I was their nursery nurse for all 5 babies. When they would come back, they would ask for me. And that was just kind of special, and the continuity of care for them and me, and to see them bring back their other kids that I had taken care of earlier. So that's a real good memory for me. I was also working for Methodist during Allison, which was a challenging time for our hospital. And the highlight of that was meeting Dr. DeBakey in the elevator.
Wow.
When I was working as an elevator operator, because of course at that time they just gave us whatever jobs they needed covered. So that was kind of neat. And the third thing is that one Christmas, they had the Houston Symphony come to the hospital and play a Christmas concert in the lobby of Dunn Tower. And it was just magical. And I thought that was really nice of them to do that for us.
Those are great memories. So what do you think is the most significant impact that Houston Methodist has made that has helped us hold on to you for all of these years?
When I moved to Houston from Austin, I was used to really high quality care. And I went to work in the suburbs for a few months and realized quickly that I needed to find a hospital with a higher standard of care, and preferably a teaching hospital. And I found that at Methodist. So when I found that, that's where I wanted to be. There were lots of learning opportunities. They helped with tuition reimbursement for my bachelor's degree. When I got my lactation certification, they helped me with that. And then 4 years ago, they helped me make a transfer out here to Methodist Willowbrook so that I could fulfill my desire to be a lactation consultant. The other 2 reasons I stay, and probably really important reasons, are I love my job. As a nursery nurse, as a lactation consultant, I worked with mothers and babies from birth to helping them get off to a good breastfeeding start. And I just really enjoy taking care of the mothers and babies. I also have had the good advantage of having great coworkers. I can't say enough about my coworkers at Methodist, from the nurses I work with to the ancillary staff to all the departments. I mean, it's just always been about being a team, providing the best quality care to the patients, and taking pride in your work. So I just have always had great coworkers, and I'm very thankful for that.
Well, Ann, congratulations to you on your 30 years of service. We're so proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
I love being able to be here with Sarah and just congratulate one of our longest tenured employees.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So today I'm excited to take this opportunity to sit down to celebrate one of our employees, Wendy Stockman, who's actually devoted 30 years of service to Houston Methodist. And so Wendy, once again, thank you for sitting here with us just to talk and tell us about some of your experience over the last 30 years. You know, I want to start off this dialogue with, maybe tell me, what do you remember most, or what is your fondest memory about working at Houston Methodist over the past 30 years?
My career was mostly downtown for the first 22 years, and I worked in the Dunn OR, and I mostly remember the camaraderie that we had amongst us. It was a large OR with a lot of people, but we were still a close, tight-knit group. I also remember always having a sense of satisfaction at the end of the day that there was a job well done, even if it was a hard day, very taxing. And that's kind of what I mostly remember. I have fond memories of being downtown.
That's great, having that teamwork and that camaraderie. That's great.
Wendy, I know over the last 30 years there have been a lot of changes. And what would you say was the most or the biggest change that you had, or the most substantial change that you went through?
I'm not a big fan of change, but the biggest change that we've had to deal with, I believe, is technology. When computers became a big deal in the OR, we started out writing on paper, and all of a sudden there were computer wires let down into the room, and we had to start learning how to do that. And so I think that was the biggest challenge, and still is sometimes.
Yeah, technology is hard.
Yeah.
We still deal with those changes daily. Yeah. But so Methodist retained you for 30 years. That's a long time. So what do you think Houston Methodist does best to retain employees like you?
I think it does several things. One of them is that they do the employee survey from time to time. They act on the results that they get, and they also give us bonuses based on those. At a time in my life when I wanted to be a stay-home mom, they worked with my schedule and let me come in when my husband was off on a part-time basis. Things like that have been, they also, I think they treat us fairly. The eye care values are really my values also, and so I think it's a good fit. And looking at what people are paid around at other large hospitals, I believe that they get us up to par whenever we lag back too. So it's been fair. I have no regrets.
That's awesome.
It's awesome, Wendy.
Thank
you know, I just want to say on behalf of our leadership team, our executive team, it's an honor that you chose to spend 30 years of service with our organization. Congrats to you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate all the work that you have done over the past 30 years.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Wendy.
It's always fun to look back at what was happening in the past at these events. Sometimes just seems like time flies and it seems like just yesterday. And think of how time has flown at Houston Methodist and the vital role each of you have played in the success during your long tenures at Houston Methodist Hospital. More true, as I said, than ever this year in 2020 as we continue to battle COVID-19. You and your hard work and your dedication and your tenure and your compassion are the backbone of everything at Houston Methodist Hospital and all that we have accomplished together as a team. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your dedication to our patients. We could not do this without you. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that next time when we're celebrating your next anniversary in 5 years, we'll be gathered in person. Enough of this virtual stuff. Congratulations. Keep up the great work and may God bless you.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. It's been my absolute privilege to recognize you today, and congratulations on your special anniversaries. I hope your families and loved ones are celebrating you too. Take care and be blessed.